What's up, future officers? My name is Tejas, and I welcome you all very warmly to this new episode of iLead. Today, we are discussing yet another geopolitical happening, yet another very important thing which is happening with all the Indians staying in US because of one person sitting in the top. Who is that person? Donald Trump, the president of US. So what is it now, sir? Every day is almost coming in news. What is it now, you might ask? So this time, he has made a new rule on the H-1B visa. So what is this H-1B visa? What is this new rule all about? What is its implications on India? Meaning to say the advantages, disadvantages on Indians, you might ask. And what is the advantages, disadvantages for USA? This could be another question. So we'll discuss all of this in the first part of our video. So over here, number one, what is this H-1B visa? Now, imagine that you are this person who is staying outside USA. To come to USA, you need a visa. Now, there are many types of visas. So many letters would come: immigrant visas, non-immigrant visas, F visa, M visa, J visa, H visa. In H visa only, there are many types. In that, H-1B is one type of visa. That is what you have to understand. Now, H-1B is a it's a temporary visa. Okay, it's non-permanent visa, which is for a specialized skill, and that specialized skill should not be of an agricultural background. So that is what is a H-1B visa. Got this? Now, what exactly is this? Sir, can you make it a little more easy to understand? Yes, see, H-1B visa. Now, imagine that you are a US company. You want to hire people. Now, when you want to hire people, you look for people of all the skill sets from starting till the end. Some of the skill sets you will not be able to find in the local talent pool. Now, because you are not able to find in the local talent pool, there is one more option which you have. You can hire somebody from any other country who have that particular skill. Now, usually what do the companies do? They go to the US government and they apply for this H-1B visa. Now, what usually happens is that many people who are trying for this will come and they will appear for an online job. Many of them will give an online interview. Once they give an online interview, they will be selected, and people belonging to that particular skill set will go to USA. Now, once this happens, usually you see that the people who go to USA are the people who are working for something which is much lesser than what a US citizen would. Now, the H-1B visa is one type of visa. Now, when we talk about the H-1B visa, let me try to simplify this. See, imagine that you are a US company. You would obviously want to hire a lot of people. Now, for one particular skill set, you don't find one person who can fill in that particular role very easily. This is where that particular company has an option to go and find somebody from anywhere in the world and get them to USA and make them work. Through what? Through H-1B visa. So because of this, it becomes very easy for them. What they have to do, being a US company, is they have to go to the government and they have to tell the government that I want to apply, I want to fill one vacancy in my company. I have this specific role which requires this particular skill set. So please, I want to apply. So like this, many US companies would go to the US government and apply for people with H-1B visas. Now, many people would be interested in this and they would apply for this. Many people would give online interviews and many of them would be selected if they have the specific skills. Now, how many people can one company hire, or how many people can it apply for, you might ask? One company can hire, or it can apply for how many ever people. But you just have to remember that one person, one application. It can apply for how many ever people, how many ever visas. Now, if I have to give you and talk a little bit of numbers, in 2024 itself, that is last year, around 4.7 lakh applications came into the picture, and these many visas were applied. Now, in 4.7 lakh people, or in 4.7 lakh applications, there were the US government, what it did was basically it does not apply or it does not approve 4.5 lakh applications also. Now, you might be getting this one more doubt. Sir, all of this is fine, but for any work, can I apply for H1B visa? Imagine I want to go for some very small odd job to work in a McDonald's. Can I apply for H1B visa? No, that cannot be the case. H1B visa is only applicable to STEM education. STEM means what? It is basically 4 disciplines in science. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Any of these kind of specialized skills, if you possess, in that case, usually it is an application via the H1B visa. Now, every year, if you see last year, let me just talk a little bit of numbers here. Last year, there were 4.7 lakh applications. In this 4.7 lakh applications, which were going to the government via the companies, did all of them get approved? No, they did not get approved. Every year, usually, in how much ever application comes, US, it usually picks 85,000 applicants and then it approves them. Now, how are these applications picked, sir? Does Donald Trump send one team in which they review all the application and then they hire whomever they want? No. In this case, it doesn't happen like that. What happens is that this 85,000 people are picked via lottery. So basically, anybody could be picked. Another thing is that once this H1B visa is given, then there would be a 3-year validity. That is, once if, for example, my H1B visa is approved in 2024, in that case, I need not worry until 2027. In case my visa is approved in 2025, I need not worry until 2028. After 2028, I have to extend this particular thing. Now that we have a little bit of knowledge about what is this H1B visa, what is this new rule which Trump administration and Donald Trump has brought about? Now is telling that if any company is applying for a H1B visa and they have to get applicants, from now onwards, they have to pay a whopping $100,000. How much? $100,000. Before, how much was it, sir? Was it $99,000? No, it was just $2,000 before. Now suddenly it's increased to $100,000. That is, a company themselves have to shell out so much money to hire people. Do you think it would go on the profit lines? No. So just to give you a small glimpse as to how much $100,000 is, it is 88 lakh rupees. That is close to 90 lakh rupees. So do they have to pay 88 lakh rupees for 1 year? No, they don't have to pay 88 lakhs for 1 year. Generally, this is for 3 years term. But still, 88 lakhs is a very big amount. Okay, 88 lakhs for what? It's not their salary or anything. It is just for them to get into US. Okay, just to hire these people, 88 lakhs is what, the company has to spend to the government. Now, if you were a US company and if you had to pay so much to hire one person, you would rather hire somebody there itself. That would be the lines of thinking, because for 3 years, if you're spending close to 90 lakhs, that means that every year you're almost spending close to 30 lakhs just for the application of H1B visa, let alone all the other extra things like their insurance and their pension and their social security and their salary, and all of that is another story altogether. Just for letting them stay, you're paying 30 lakhs upfront just for their visa. Now, this particular rule only applies to the H1B visa. It does not apply to any other visas. And when will this be in effect? This was going to be in effect from today. That is 21st September. So 21st September onwards, if any US company is going to have to hire an Indian, in that case, it will have to be paying $100,000, 88 lakh rupees, 30 lakhs a year to just bring an Indian with a specialized skill to USA. Now, there would be so many people of Indian origin living in USA. Now, what about all of them? If they already have H1B visas, is that something to be scared about? I would say that no, nothing to be scared about. You just have to remember that any kind of renewal, any kind of extension, and any existing visa holder need not worry at all. There is nothing which you have to do. It is only applicable to the people who are applying after today, that is 21st September. Now you might be getting this doubt, but sir, is there a method to this madness? Or is Donald Trump just coming out from nowhere and making this rule just to trouble us Indians? See, what is Donald Trump's rationale is sometimes very difficult to understand. But what could be made some kind of plausible sense here is that imagine, let me just give you a small analogy. Two people are there, one US citizen and an Indian citizen. A US citizen would probably ask $2 lakh to do one job. The same thing, an Indian citizen would do it for $1 lakh itself. Okay. Now in that case, I'm just giving you an analogy so that you can understand what would the company prefer. They would prefer an Indian who would do it for a cheaper rate. Now that might not be some specialized skill, but nevertheless, what these US companies will do is they will try to hire an Indian to do the same job for a cheaper rate so that they can cut some margins and they can make profits. So this is how usually this H-1B visa rule was being bypassed time and again. Now, according to Donald Trump, he wants these companies to stop this and really go for hiring some specialized skill H-1B visas to apply for them only if it's really required and if it's a really high paying job. In that case, you bring those people from outside. But for all the small jobs, you cannot keep on applying H-1B visa and bringing about people from all over the world into USA. This is how Trump thought. Now, how will it have an impact on India? See, every year in that 85,000 visas which are issued, 64,000 visas are Indians itself. So, of course, it's going to have an effect on Indians. Because what happens here? We Indians, we are hired into USA, and the same Indians, we work in USA and we have our family here and we send back that money from USA to India. So all these becomes a source of remittance. So ultimately it helps India to grow. Presently, there are 6 lakh people in USA with H-1B visas. In that 6 lakh, what is very surprising is 4 lakh of them are Indians itself. Now, maximum of this H-1B visas are given to companies like Amazon, Cognizant, so on and so forth. Now, what would happen here? Less money. So, if these people, till now, what could be done? They would hire Indians for cheap. And because of this, what would happen is many Indians would come and live the American dream. But now, since that particular door option is closed, many Indians might probably choose to stay back in India and develop India. That is number one. The second one is that many IT companies would find it cheaper to invest in our Silicon Valley, that is Bangalore, Hyderabad, Noida, and cities like this basically. So where they would come here and open up offices wherein it will create more employment, increasing our purchasing power, thereby leading to our economic growth. For the companies which could not open here, what would end up happening is that these foreign companies would come here and give contracts to the companies which are already working here. So these contracts would again bring up more jobs, would again put more money in our hands. We would again end up spending all of this in our economy, which would generate a multiplier effect. So if you see, in the short term, there might be a little bit of hiccups, but in the long term, there is definitely good, because all that brain drain which was happening in India, all that most intelligent minds going to countries like USA would probably have this small obstacle of this H-1B right now, and this brain drain might transition into brain gain. Now, what would be the impact on US? In the short term, it seems very good, wherein the US citizens are going to get a lot more jobs. Very good, fine. But would the US citizens work for the same price as Indian citizens? A big no. Definitely they are not going to work as less as the Indian citizens. So them demanding more would mean that the companies have to shell out a lot more money. They have to shell out a lot more expenses on recruitment. They have to incur losses, or they have to usually take out less profit margin from whatever they are getting. And because of this, all of this could trigger something called as a Minsky movement. Now, what is this Minsky movement, sir? See, you might ask. See, in economics, there is this term, usually to explain this. If you've seen Tom and Jerry, or if you've seen this Roadrunner show and all, it will become very easy for you. So what happens here is that Tom will be chasing Jerry. Okay, the cat will be chasing the mouse. And Jerry will go stand near the cliff. Tom would go ahead of Jerry, see back, okay, and realize that it is in air. Then it would see down, and suddenly it would fall down. Same thing with US economy. So what is this Minsky movement? With a projection that it will grow, it will grow, it will grow, they would keep on making more and more assets. But suddenly that bubble would burst, okay, wherein it might trigger some kind of a disaster, economic disaster. But is all of this surely going to happen? Maybe no. But is there a possibility and the chain reaction because of this? Maybe yes. Again, there is another problem that if a skill is really not present in US, then in that case, the company again has to bear a lot of cost in getting that person from, let's say, India. Now, these would be the major problems which US has faced. Now, these are all the various dimensions which is going on in the happenings in USA. Now, let me know if any of your friends or any of the people you know are suffering from all of this. I would love to know about their experiences as well. Geopolitics and international relations has almost become very active, and it is changing almost every day after Donald Trump comes. How this goes on unwinding, wherein many countries, they have no clue on what is going to happen next. How all of this will unfold, only time will tell. Okay? So keep following our regular updates. With this, we wind up today's session of iLead, where we have discussed about the H-1B visa policy and the rule change. And then we've gone on to discuss the amazing trick about SDG. I'm sure that you will never forget it for now. I will see you all in the next class. Until then, this is Tejas signing off. Thank you and have a nice day.